Greetings, fellow moviegoers, and welcome to Movie Central, the place to talk about movies, TV shows based on movies, toys based on movies, games based on movies, and rides based on movies. I'm your host, Mr. CCS, and this is my pet gorilla, George. I need to warn you really quickly before I start this review that I may anger a bunch of you people, because this is going to be one of those reviews for a movie that everyone really doesn't want to be put down as not perfect. But this is my show, and you're going to hear my opinion. So let's get into the brief history analysis. So Disney wasn't really big in 2017 at all. Despite the three MCU films making bank at the box office, The House of Mouse had mostly mediocre movies at best throughout the year, with the likes of the remake of Beauty and the Beast, Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Man Tell No Tales, and Cars 3, the worst of the trilogy by far. However, the holiday season would be a big one for the company, not just in box office with The Last Jedi coming out, but with critics raving. Pixar's second of two films in 2017 would not just be a financial hit, but also would be one with critics and audiences, winning an Oscar for Best Animated Feature. But is it as good as people say? Well, spoilers, as you could probably tell, no, but we're gonna find out today if I'm right or wrong. This is Coco. Despite his family's generations-old ban on music, young Miguel, voiced by the incredibly talented Anthony Gonzalez, dreams of becoming an accomplished musician like his idol Ernesto de la Cruz, voiced by Benjamin Bratt. Despite proving his talent to his family, they don't like it. Desperate to prove his talent to someone else, Miguel finds himself in the stunning and colorful land of the dead. After meeting a charming trickster Hector, voiced by Gael Garcia Bernal, my apologies if I mispronounce your name, the two new friends embark on an extraordinary journey to unlock the real story behind Miguel's family history. Yes, I do admit that the movie is good, but there is one big problem with it. The narrative is a cut and paste of Fox's The Book of Life, a movie released in 2014. The main character wants to play music, but his family wants him to do something else. The villain is crushed by a bell. The land of the dead is so bright and colorful. The animation is very unique. And the family members are easily the best characters in the movie. So how come the movie that gets no attention from the Academy and critics alike is the one made by Fox? Yet Coco, a movie from Disney and Pixar released 3 years later, gets all the attention? Is it because it's Disney? Side note, Disney owns Fox now, so big oof on Disney's part. They own the very thing that they ripped off. I find this so irritating and frustrating, and that's why this movie lost serious points on my final score. Because, well, I just hate the fact that people just mooch on Disney and really suck their butt. Or kiss their butt, rather. But aside from that problem, is there anything this movie does right? Well, actually, yes. While the story frustrates me, the characters are where the movie shines. Miguel is an interesting protagonist because he's just a kid, so of course he acts like one. He gets happy like a kid, he gets sad like a kid, he gets angry as a kid, and it doesn't feel artificial. Gonzalez's performance really drives the character, which is still amazing. He doesn't hold a candle to Manolo Sanchez, however, from The Book of Life, whose character was driven by love and not by family, which I find to be a little more interesting. I'm sorry, I'll try to keep my comparisons to The Book of Life at a minimum from this point on, because it's just going to get annoying. Hector is also a really good character. Personally, the scenes that got me with him are his backstory with the villain and the scene where he's singing to his daughter. These are very emotional moments, and they always make me feel warm inside. As for the family, the ones in the land of the living are okay. I mean, Grandma Elena is memorable for the slipper swinging stereotype, which every, every character who has a grandma character in a predominantly Latina story always does. I mean, I've seen it so many places. Freaking Casa Grandes does it. I just don't know. Mama Coco is emotional, but is used mostly for some comedy. I mean, I know she's old, but come on, why with those jokes? And really, that's about it. Not every character in the Land of the Living, in regards to the Rivera family, gets much screen time. Weird, I know. The ones in the Land of the Dead are so much better, though. Imelda is memorable and very heartbreaking, losing her husband and basically just becoming a sourpuss, which is really well done for her. The rest of the family is also memorable to watch. The twins are great and by far the best of the family because, well, they're just funny. I love twin antics in a lot of things I watch. A series of unfortunate events handles the twin things really nicely. Of course, The Shining does the twins. And yes, you can't deny that this is really interesting. And the short one, whose name escapes me, is also funny. As for our villain, we have Ernesto de la Cruz, who, yes, is another Disney Twist villain, but surprisingly, is actually vile and great. Seriously, his villainy just stings to watch, and it makes us feel hatred towards the guy. You hear these types of stories of the betrayal all the time, and yeah, and we see how dark they can get in this version. So I appreciate the way Pixar executed it. As a matter of fact, it's one of the best tellings of the story. Although, again, his death is taken directly from Jakal's death in the Book of Life. But again, that's really the only complaint I have with his character. So yeah, the characters, while not perfect, are great, and some of the best parts of the movie. The animation, on the other hand, is absolutely perfect. Seriously, this is some of the best animation I've seen in a long time, and I can't applaud Pixar enough for making this movie look as good as they possibly could. The world looks great, the characters have memorable designs, and God, I just freaking love it. As for the music, the collaboration of one of the best of now, Michael Giacchino and Franco, is great. It encapsulates the Mexican culture, and it always gets me whenever it goes emotional. So that's really all I have to say. While the story sucks due to the ripping off, the rest of the movie is great. So the movie overall is good. Overall, I give it an 8.5 out of 10. Not great, but still really good. Well, that's it for this review. Feel free to leave your thoughts on the movie below and tune in next week when I take a look at Incredibles 2. With that said, my name is Mr. CCS, this is Movie Central, and that, my friends, is a wrap. See you next week.